Welcome back to the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships in Perth, Western Australia. Apologies for the late go. We currently have China versus Hong Kong mixed up on our screen here. I'm Kate Luck and I'm joined in the commentary booth by Rob Swan.
It's a pleasure to be here, Katie. This has been an exciting day of Ultimate around the grounds, and we're here this afternoon bringing some quality mixed action from some exciting teams.
The wind is going as crazy as ever. It's going to make these conditions difficult for this South Asian matchup.
Absolutely. Seen a bunch of games going on, and they're all incredibly wind affected at this point. It's just about who can play through the wind better. There's a lot of zone, and it's really separating the wheat from the chaff as far as throwing goes.
Now we had Hong Kong come out on offense, and there was an early turnover. There's now been another turnover, and China and Hong Kong are coming out on offense again. Sitting out right in front of the end zone in a vertical stack. We have Cheng with the disc. Gets off the first pass. And that's the first goal in the bank for Hong Kong.
All right, there we go. Hong Kong opening strong. It's going to be always very difficult. The wind's going incredibly right to left as you see it on your screen here. So any team that can score on this right-hand end zone is going to be at a huge advantage. So expect to see a lot of points going right to left as the Hong Kong team signals that this will be a 4-man point.
Now the China team only has 7 women on their line, so they will probably be likely to call 4 men anytime they get the opportunity, just so they don't tire out their women too quickly. Quite a stark difference of some of the other squads we've seen, which have had upwards of 10 women on their mix line.
Yes, it's always good to bring equal number of players of both gender and as many as you can find. As many as will be helpful to your team, particularly in conditions like this when it's super hot and a super long tournament like the one we're at. So it's going to be interesting to see if their athleticism can hold out throughout the week here.
Hong Kong coming out on defense. Bit of a rolly pull upwind.
China going downwind, looking to equalize here.
Hong Kong putting on a really tight zone there, trying to trap them on the far sideline.
China going down, looking to match the first score from Hong Kong. See if they can hold downwind as well. Working well behind the wall here. Lin, the captain with the disc here. He's anchoring this offense. China resets backwards to Hoffman. That disc goes down, gives Hong Kong a short field to work with.
We have Raymond Tan picking up the disc. Centers it to Leong. Leong and Tan working together through this zone.
Kathy Yu with the disc.
Kathy plays in Australia. Oh, we had a turnover to China.
That's a great grab by Lin, the captain there. Oh, Hoffman unable to reel that one in.
Hong Kong will now set up on this further sideline, closer sideline. And there's another quick turn. The wind really picking up and pushing down that first throw of the...
Unable to complete even a short pass here. Going upwind, Lin with the disc. Looks off Hoffman. So his first time cutter goes around, finds Hoffman on the sideline here. Oh, and they look long. Oh, that's a great bid, but it's reeled in. Jiang with the disc there. Oh, it goes around. Finds Hoffman in the end zone, and that's 1-all. Both teams scoring downwind.
Now, with the wind getting particularly ferocious today in comparison to other days of the tournament, it's really going to impact how the players get the goal. We've particularly seen a bit of up-downwind, which is definitely going to go in favour of one end of the field, and it's going to be difficult for a team to get an upwind break, but once they do, they'll be able to hold that easier.
Absolutely, we've seen across the grounds here lots of games being almost dictated by this wind, and the teams that are able to grind through enough cuts and get open enough and complete those throws going upwind, that's been the difference maker. Even one upwind break can decide the game. If this game continues all the way without an upwind break, it'll come down to universe point. So if any team is able to go all the way left to right here, they'll be in a massively advantageous position.
As I predicted, China have decided to call 4 men on their line, coming down on defense. At this tournament, we're using the end zone decides rule for gender split. The pull comes up, just coming over the halfway mark. Hong Kong to pick up. China appearing to be setting a zone. Slow walk to the mark from the Hong Kong handler. Cheng with the disc. Get a fake there from Tang. Back to Cheng. Making cautious decisions, but decides to dump it to the sideline. Swing back. Oh, back up the sideline. Huge bid there from the Chinese player, and up! The disc goes! We get a great read from China.
That was Liu with a block there. Dishes it off nicely. China looking to go upwind here. Hong Kong not setting a zone at the moment. Just proven to be very effective. So we'll see if China can use this to their advantage and work against the match defense. Let's go all the way upwind. So, oh, that's an unbelievable layout block.
Fantastic layout block there from Tang. He picks up the disc, considers his options. Does a pop over past the Chen. She sends it into the hands of Tan. He can't convert.
Finding even those downwind shots difficult. It's always got to be short throws, even going downwind. Just and then occasionally a little pop. Add some consistency here. So Hong Kong still not setting a zone here, which has been very popular, but guarding these undercuts very tightly. Oh, Zhang just can't reel that one in.
It's been a
Might
call.
never talk about it.
Game advisor coming up to the call to help facilitate any discussion, but indicates there's been no call. Players shake hands, always a sign of good spirit. May just need to be deciding when they need to go now. And the turnover stands. Hong Kong to pick up. On the far sideline, not far to go. Tang with the goal. Another downwind point for Hong Kong.
An amazing defensive bid by Man Hao, but unable to get the block there.
A little bit of double happiness for David Tang. He's pretty stoked with himself, getting a huge layout D and the goal.
Absolutely. And that's 2-1 Hong Kong, all downwind thus far, as they signal 4 men.
Ultimate is relatively developing in Hong Kong and China, with Hong Kong sending just a mixed team into this competition, whilst China opting to send both a mixed and a men's team into this competition. We don't hear a lot about these nations here in Australia, so it'll be exciting to see how this matchup turns out.
Absolutely. As both of these countries develop into stronger and stronger ultimate programs, it's exciting that ultimate in the region will be developing, and there'll be increased competition, which is always good for everybody. Most of these countries would mostly be competing at the Asia Oceanic Championships, both in the club and national events. That ball comes down to halfway. China fields, facing down this Hong Kong zone again. Huffman picks up the disc. Goes to Zue. Su, back to Zue. Working through the zone. China resetting well. Oh, quick pop through the cut. They're gaining meters here. Great tempo moves here. Lin, the captain's controlling the flow well. Oh, just got a little bit ahead of themselves. Looked like they were looking for the next pass before the catch was completed.
Chung picking up. Trying to set up a zone very quickly. Big bid, huge floaty disc. Safely into the hands of Ingrid Yun. Moves it down that sideline. Gets a bit of a give go. Big layout bid there from China. Trying to work it through the zone, consider their options. Not getting much traction at the moment. Moving backwards towards their own end zone. Unlikely to want to risk an overhead throw in this wind. We get a swing off and another, but there's been a miscommunication.
Looking for quick movement behind there. That's what they need to be doing, but China's capitalized. Hoffman with the disc here. Finds Lin. He's looking for a big shot downwind, but he's resets to Hoffman. Hoffman goes up line, dishes again. Lin with the disc. Goes wide to Zwe. Oh, Hoffman with a great beating grab in the center there. It's a bit of a stagnant here at the moment. Hoffman, quick flick over the top. Su with a disc. Su looking for a goal there, but unable to make it happen there.
As though there has been a pick called on the field. Game advisor comes in to help facilitate the discussion. As though the players have decided with the assistance of the game advisor that the turnover stands.
It's quite reasonable, didn't seem to affect the throw.
Hong Kong back on offense. Low throw gets pushed down by the Chinese player.
Su doing everything. Hoffman with a disc here, surveying his options. Goes wide to Zwe. Finds Hoffman again. Ooh, Hoffman floats one out and it's picked up.
Hong Kong moved this up the field. Just past the halfway mark now. Considers throwing long, decides not to risk it. Bit of contact initiated, the pivot, and a foul has been called.
It's good use of hand signals.
Players on the sideline echoing the call with their hand symbols. Uncontested appears to be. And just is back in. Hong Kong moving the disc swiftly up the field. Great put there. Round break.
And just an incompletion there. That was close. Hong Kong with a great opportunity to go upwind here. As a pick up, Hoffman's taking off deep. And the shot's faked, but he's taken a number of defenders. There are players open under, but not exploiting at the moment. China content to reset with the handlers at the moment. Ua with a disc.
Hong Kong opting to switch to match defense. Oh, there's a huge put up. That is
This might be good if it comes back in the field, but it's going far to the right. Ooh.
That was a ridiculously high throw.
Quite close to that one, but not able to get under that one. Bit difficult to read, but at least it landed in the field.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, that would have been a huge disadvantage to China if this had gone back to where it was thrown from. Oh, great grab there from Hong Kong. Got Wu on the sideline. And just goes up into the safe hands there of Ning. Dumps it not quite in. Takes her feet back, right in front of the end zone. So close. Oh, there's been a quick D in traffic. China for another possession.
Hoffman's picked it up immediately. Seen his man streaking deep. And that one looks like it's gone out and not come back in. So that'll come back in on the cone there. Or if it may have crossed the line. Just having a chat about where it's crossed, and it looks like they're all indicating there, so it'll come in approximately around the brick mark. Hong Kong with a chance to work it with a short field.
Hong Kong will really want to convert this one and get that upwind break that we talked about earlier as being so important to maintain a lead in this close game. Have the handler slowly walking it up to the point where it ran out, and the disc is in. Working backwards, not afraid to give up some ground just to get the movement flowing. Movement to the far sideline. Oh, that's a floaty one that's gone out the side of the sideline there. Too far for Lau to grab. Trying to get another crack at offense here. Oh, but there's been a timeout called.
That's not a bad one here. I mean, they've gone up and down a few ways and had a hard time there. So trying to take their time to reset, look and work out what their strategy will be. They're looking for a quick attack downwind here, use the wind to their advantage and be striking long. But they've got to contend with the Hong Kong defense, and also those shots have to be coming in. If they go out of the field, then the disc will come back in where they crossed the line.
Definitely, and I think they definitely will want to wait until they're in the right position on the field before throwing a big downwind huck. Make sure that they're really happy with where they're placed. Otherwise, the risk is it's just going to go straight out.
Absolutely. It is also going to contend with where they are at the time and the mark. Ideally, they would be shooting from power position. Power position's a bit of ultimate lingo. If you are running and receive the disc in front of you, so you're running towards the end zone where you want to be shooting it to, and you receive the disc facing that direction, you can then throw it and use your momentum to get a longer throw and push that disc further. It's a nice, much more natural way to be throwing rather than having to turn your whole body around and throw. So players will be looking to receive the disc and throw it in stride.
Definitely. That'll have to come off the back of a great undercut leaning pass.
Often might be some handle movement there. If they're going up the line and the throw comes from behind them, they catch it next to them and then look for a shot. We'll look to see if the handlers can generate the movement using that. Looks like Hoffman and Zue and the other Chinese handlers may look to get that going as Hong Kong sets up a zone here. Lin, the captain, with the disc here.
And just is back in play.
Finds Zue in space here. Hong Kong not playing a true zone here. Just a few players quite close around the disc and a lot of space. Go to Zue. Zue goes over the top looking for Lin, but that's tipped by the Hong Kong defender. That's good defense.
Great work off the hands of Yun. She'll be pretty pleased with herself and her awareness in that zone. Get a tip on that. Hong Kong getting another chance at offense, pointing to where the disc went out. Chung bringing the disc back in, looking to center it to Lau. Over to Yun. Oh! And she throws it directly into the shoulder of the Chinese player.
Lin right in the right spot at the right time to collect that D. That's all right, he'll take it. Doesn't have to be pretty as long as it works. Lee with the disc. Moving around there, finds Su. It's stationary here, resets backwards to Hoffman. It's a nice grab. Hoffman looking long. Patiently finds Ua on the inside. Oh, and he shoots long over the top. Oh, and that's a great grab. Su is in the right place at the right time. Hong Kong defender wasn't able to quite read that one. They'll be a bit disappointed they weren't able to go upwind there, despite having a number of opportunities. China's converted downwind, and that's 2-2.
It was a fantastic throw. Great read from the Chinese player there. Using the wind to their advantage, moving across the field with the back corner.
Absolutely, and that's the sort of advantage that the wind brings to your team, even if it, not necessarily the extra distance or the extra long shots, but the ability to drop in shots through that with, might be called a blade. It's coming down with quite some edge, but the wind pushed it down nicely and enabled him to shoot it over the Hong Kong wall, over the defender there, and drop right in on his receiver's head. So it's quite skillful control of the disc there. And that's something that will be quite difficult going upwind. And it won't sit as predictably and tend to just be blustery and pushed backwards.
Hong Kong will have another crack at downwind offense here, hoping to get one quickly on the scoreboard and hopefully break up wind.
Yeah, I think teams will be looking to advance the disc downwind as fast as possible. The coaching staff of these teams will know that the upwind break is absolutely very valuable. Both teams have struggled going upwind, so it's going to be important not to turn over close to the upwind end zone, which might often mean slinging it downwind.
We have Cheng picking up the disc, centering it, moving off to the side, considering the options, looking for the swing, looking for the dump. Gets out to Tang. Tang dubs it off again. Oh, we found a hole, but the Chinese players got to it first.
Absolutely. Swat it into the ground. Liao was having none of that one. Any floaty disc today has to be caught or smashed into the ground. Oh, and that's a tremendous shot. It's sitting up a little bit. Just didn't quite have the distance. Lu looking for Zhang there, but unable to complete.
Not quite enough on that one. Unfortunately, the wind being the 8th defender today, pushing any stray disc down or up, depending on what way you're going.
Yeah, that one might have sat, might have allowed her to run into it, but not quite enough.
Oh, we get an early long shot from Hong Kong, going out, potentially a lot closer to the thrower than they would have liked.
Looks like this one's actually coming in on the cone, and this is a costly turnover for Hong Kong. Right out the front of their end zone here, so giving China an incredibly short field to work with. Hong Kong look to be forcing into that far sideline, furthest away from the camera, giving a small space for China to work with, but if they can convert here, this will be incredibly valuable.
There we see
Oh,
it.
and that's an incredible bidding grab. Number 10, Lu, has gotten that score. They've gone upwind. And that's an incredibly costly mistake from Hong Kong. China takes the lead. That's 3-2, and they'll be going downwind after this point.
Which will be definitely a lot easier for them to put another break on the board.
It's going to be interesting. Hong Kong will be starting with the disc, but they'll be going upwind, so they need to be able to put this one in if they're going to be getting back in this game, because now, if the teams trade just downwinders from here, China will be always one step ahead.
It appears that there's been a timeout called, both teams huddling up.
Bit of a different energy in these timeouts, I would say. The Hong Kong team, bit nervous, bit considered. They're thinking, oh, we have to get a break up here. The pressure's really on them. And Chinese team celebrating the position they're in. They're in an attacking position. Just got to consolidate and go downwind here. The worst thing China can do is concede an upwind break right now. Then Hong Kong's absolutely back on the game.
Hong Kong and China have both had some fantastic chants this tournament that I've heard. China's been very catchy, so we'd be surprised if they bring it out at halftime to amp themselves up. Look forward to that.
Absolutely. Lots of different teams here at the tournament, using lots of different techniques to get themselves in the right mood, to keep themselves amped, doing whatever they need to get themselves in the zone of optimal performance. Depending on the mood, culture, vibe of your team, there could be dancers, could be having a good fun time. Other teams tend to be more serious and business-like, focusing on a calm, intense fire inside. Other teams just want to be having a good time. They want to feel the team around them. It's interesting to see the different approaches to the game and what gets you the most. Different players as well need different things. Some want to be calm, chill, no pressure, just doing what they do best. Others need the fire and the intensity to bring the best out of them and bring out their athletic plays and bids. So interesting to see how different teams have different vibes and can provide for different types of players.
Definitely. Hong Kong slowly walking themselves up to the line. China's defensive line all ready to go. Game advisor whistles, prompting the Hong Kong players to jog it up to the line, get ready for their offensive point. Now we're seeing a little bit of a different lineup from these teams in comparison to some of the traditional powerhouses of Ultimate, where we don't have a coach on the line calling with them, and perhaps that's just because of the youthfulness of the Ultimate scene in these countries, that they don't have a huge coaching roster.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the more developed nations will bring multiple coaches. These teams, sort of a single coach on each team. See if they can get it done. More is not necessarily better. Depends on the quality of the coach.
Oh, great early throw. Low on the disc, and he sends it to. He's got a receiver in the end zone. Oh, and she's got it! That was a quick upwind score from Hong Kong. Fantastic work.
Absolutely, they've struck back. They've done what they needed to, and that is an incredible throw, slicing through the zone and going upwind. Hong Kong have broke back going upwind, and there we go. Scores are level again. That's 3-3. An upwind break apiece, and we're back on serve.
We'll see the replay of that now. Lam running down that disc and celebrating with her teammates. So much excitement, so much joy. They'll be hoping to break now downwind.
Absolutely. It's an incredible response from the Hong Kong team. It's a remarkable throwing prowess. If they can keep that up throughout the game, they'll absolutely be at an advantage. That's two laser low penetrating throws and athletic receivers on the other end. Didn't even have to lay out for that one, went straight to her. So
initially looked like it was just too far, but she kept running, she never gave up, and she held it safely in her hands without even having to lay out.
Absolutely. If they can keep that out there at the game, China will have to find something they can do. Let's see if they can answer with their own upwind break here.
Huge pull there from Hong Kong, going deep into their own end zone for China to pick up.
Hoffman with the disc. Goes around. Su. Back to Hoffman, working the zone. Back to Su. Zue with the disc. Oh, and it's popped up in the air. Oh, and it's collected by the Hong Kong defender.
Oh, appears there's been a call as a player down.
And that's the injury signal.
Fantastic grab out of that pack from Ingrid Ewan. Used her height to her advantage there. Game advisors coming in, check on everything. Players having a bit of a discussion. And disc is back in play. About 5 meters out from their own end zone. Oh, and we've got a drop disc. China with another chance to get an upwind break.
Potentially thinking a bit too much about the line and whether he was in to control that. As Hoffman brings it up to the line here, facing down this Hong Kong zone. Moves across to Zue. Back to Hoffman. Doing a lot of work for this Chinese offense. Dishing around in the zone there. Looks like there might have been a foul called. Kathy Yu on the mark here. Very aggressive mark. Looking to get a lot of hand blocks here. Let's see what she can do. So Chinese team's working well. Zue with the disc here. Only managing to get little short passes in the zone. Going to need to be breaking out stronger. Oh, and there's a floaty one. Oh, collected by Hoffman. Don't want to be relying on those, but they'll take it. Resets backwards, finds Zue. Back to Hoffman. But stationary with this. He's got Zue on his left. Doesn't take it, goes wide. Hoffman again, jumping for the disc. Getting every other at the moment, doing a lot of pointing and talking. Resets backwards. Whoa with the disc. Finds, off the hands of Zue in the middle. Hoffman collects. Goes wide. China resetting. Zue on the outside. No deep threats currently for China, but they're grinding their way through this zone. Do whatever it takes. So resetting around the outside. Little holes. Zue there. Dishes it off. Hoffman shrinking up. Zue looked off. Looking for a more advantageous shot. Goes around. Ua with the disc. Back to Zue. Hoffman on the sideline here. Whoop. Shoots that one up at the line. Lin with the disc. He's the captain here. As they movement grinds to a halt. Still behind the zone. As a violation called. Looks like it might be a foul elsewhere.
Our handy game advisor jumps in to help facilitate discussion. Hands are shaken, hands are up, and we're back in play.
Just coming in on one. Lin with the disc here. Resets around to Ua. Back to Lin. Nice keep go. Oh, through the middle, Ua with the disc here. Lin on the sideline. Advancing now. Oh, looks to Ua in the middle. Oh, and that's a great grab in traffic. He's taking his time. For Lin on that close sideline. Finds Zue through the cup. And they're closing up now. Back to Hoffman. Conceding ground. Su attempts to collect there, but just bounces out of his hand.
Tan to pick up. China also setting a zone, realizing the advantage of that in these windy conditions. Try to shepherd and contain. Hong Kong remain on that far sideline. Moving back to Tan. There's been another stoppage.
Can hear calls of stretch it coming from the sideline. The Hong Kong team looking for their deep receivers to move further towards the end zone. Either the Chinese defenders will leave them alone and there'll be an open look, or the Chinese defenders will move away from the disc and open that space up there. With the opportunity going downwind here, you can really open up the field and move your cutters in such a way that it relieves a bit of the pressure on the disc. It's stretching the field, spacing the field.
Still a little bit of discussion going back. Looks like the disc is going back to Chung. Hands shaken. Just back with Chung. Still deciding exactly where everyone needs to be. And the disc is in. Chung looking for the swing. And he gets it off. Goes back to Chung. Over the top to Leong. Tan waving his hand saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Hong Kong really struggling to get off the sideline. Not having a lot of options. Oh, we get a flick up the line, but just doesn't have the float on it.
It's collected by Hoffman here, and he's moving up. Oh, and that's another Chinese turnover. Hong Kong looking to go the other way. Looking to strike quickly, moving it around before the Chinese zone can set.
Chung has the disc. It looks like he's sending it. Oh, and he's sending it. There it is. Is that coming back in? Nope. Tried to use the wind to his advantage, but just got pushed too far.
Points for trying. I mean, he's theoretically got the right idea. A disc with that sort of angle on it is going to get pushed a lot by the wind. However, as Bituma's pace behind it, carried it out the sideline before it could drop in and be carried to the end zone. Hoffman with the disc here.
Oh, that's a great bit there.
Oh, Zue collects that tip disc there. You got to catch your D's. Finds Lin. And China moving in here. No options within the cup. Oh, under the legs. Zue with the disc here in the center of the field. China with a long way to go. Back to Ua.
Appears to be a call. Potentially a double team or a fast count. Waiting to hear more on what the violation is.
So, looks like a regular violation. Probably that a fast count or a double team was called, and the count was not dropped. On a fast count, the call has to be dropped by 2, or the fast count can be contested, which is a stoppage. Hoffman with the disc, slots it through the zone there. Or China moving up the middle here. Dishing it through the zone, popping that one in the air. Chinese player signals his teammates go to Zue. She's working well with the disc. Goes high and around, finds Ua. China not gaining much advantage here, managing to maintain possession. Su picks up the disc here. Hoffman with the disc. Moving it to Ua, can't quite hold on to that one. Hong Kong with the opportunity to go downwind.
It looks like we have Tan to pick up. Just in front of the halfway mark. Move it swiftly between the handlers here. Pointing where he wants his player. Moves backwards. Around there, Chung. Oh, just over the head there. 2 Hong Kong players can't pull that one down.
Bit of miscommunication there, but that's all right. Give it your best effort, see what you got. Kathy, you pointing, directing traffic. What a general on the field. China looking to go upwind here as Hong Kong elects for a match defense. And the shot goes up. Oh, that's fading low. Can she get there? Oh, that's an athletic bid from Lee, the spare captain. She's unable to reel that one in. Hong Kong looking to go downwind here. China setting a zone. Let's see if the Hong Kong can use their deep players. Need to be striking very deep.
Oh, and he sends it!
That one's got to come back in here, or else it's on the cone again.
Oh, fortunately not.
It doesn't look like it's going out there. That might be why Hong Kong are adverse to taking these shots if it's coming in on the cone, because they've essentially gained nothing by shooting it so far, except turning immediately with. A little more angle on the throws, and they'll curl back in, and if not for a completion, at least a very distant turnover. China with a short field to work as Hoffman brings it in.
Oh, and a great grab out of the air there from Tan. He taps it back in that deaf corner. Lots of traffic, and just to dump it off. Trying to direct his teammates, and he sends it as well. Still not going to come back in though. It's a really difficult sideline to get off there, particularly with a flick.
Absolutely, his players on the sideline telling him to throw a hammer. Might be a better option, get some yards, stay in the field here. They've got the right angle on these flicks here. They are throwing outside ins, which should theoretically be curving back to the left, but just need to put more on it. These throws aren't big, long attacking throws downfield are what they're looking for to break out the zone. Not about upstream, but they do need to be coming back into the field. They're yielding this very short field for the Chinese team. As Lin brings up the disc. Starts on the cone here. Hong Kong mounting a defense.
Appears to be some confusion on the field. No hand signal audio for us to confirm what exactly is happening. We'll relay as soon as we're aware. It appears as though there has been a timeout called.
That's an interesting option here. I mean, we have some controversial opinions going both ways about timeouts on field, but look, in a position like this, when you literally have about 30 centimeters, literally 5 centimeters to go, literally the width of that paint, score a goal, you really need to be finding someone here. Interesting, I would not advise that the Chinese team try and score in this corner that they're right in front of. A good option is more likely to be to go wide, swing it around, and then find the space here.
Definitely, and I think a good example of that we've seen so far this week has been the Canadian women's team. They've been one of the teams who have successfully pulled a number of timeouts right in front of the end zone, but have used it to their advantage, often swinging when their first set option doesn't pull off.
Absolutely, I would say that, you know, timeout or not, when you're out front of the end zone, dump, swing, score. They're always going to have much more luck attacking where the defenders are not, and the defenders are not all on the break side. So that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be moving that disc. That's want to be your first look. Obviously, I think the offenses are going to be threatening that open side. Have a quick look at that, but then swing around the back, find where the space is. It's much easier to get open, and otherwise you'll be squeezing it in for some contested grabs there. It's not a sustainable way to run your offense. Let's see what the Chinese team can bring here.
Hong Kong team still in a little bit of a huddle, appearing to have a separate huddle for the 7 players on the field. China's now set up in their offense, so Hong Kong can begin to set out their defense. Remaining players needing to leave the field. Hong Kong setting up now.
Sue in the dump. Hong Kong with a defender in the lane. It's definitely a time to be dumping and swinging. There's a defender in that lane, which means someone's free break side.
See what they do.
So the Chinese team had the field vision to abuse this. And we're in. There you go, China attacking in that tiny space there. It's a contested grab. Looks like a foul might be called, but looks like it's retracted. And there you go. I guess they weren't listening to the stream. Makes sense, they were on the field. Hong Kong going the other way. Let's see if they can keep this throw in. There we go. Listen to the advice of the sideline, and it's still not in the field.
Oh, no.
But there's a foul called on the mark, though.
That explains things.
That explains that.
Still possible for it to have gone out, but might not have been the nicest hammer if there was a foul on the mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a hammer, even by its very nature, it's probably exactly the throw you want to stay in here, but it's not going to be a pretty one in this wind.
No, it's definitely not. Even if it's just to gain ground, try get at least over the halfway mark, step a zone. Oh, that's the throw we're looking for, the backhand.
Nice, that's what they're looking for. Nice fake to move the mark, and big shot downwind, and Hong Kong's got defenders. Hoffman with the disc here. Oh, and he sends it back the other way. But he just not winning the yardage battle here. And that's a great defensive effort.
Great hands on that from Tan.
All right, Hong Kong. Now this is a much more achievable distance to be throwing the goal from.
And the right side of the field as well.
Absolutely, yardage plays is what's going to work. Oh, Tan looks around.
Oh, that doesn't come back in though, so the disc is going to set up.
Kathy Yu getting filthy on the ground. Disc did not come back in, so we'll come in on the sideline there, wherever it went out. Hong Kong looking to set a quick zone.
Hoffman with the disc.
No movement at the moment. Oh, flicks it over the top. Oh, and that's well read by the Hong Kong defender.
Great hands there from So. It's really nice D hands from the Hong Kong D. We have Chung picking up the disc. See if he can gain some more yardage. No, he looks for the swing. And the give go. Swings it back around. Great fast work from these Hong Kong handlers.
Yeah, trying to make this Chinese zone move. Open up holes like that one. See if they can effectively punish.
Fakes a big forehand. Doesn't throw it. Oh, and that is a floaty disc. Safe in Tan's hands though. Oh, layout bid there. Grab a low disc. Chung saving it. Citizens options. Does the huge flick. And that's Kathy Yu with the goal. No.
That's exactly the kind of downwind shot they're looking for. That is what downwind threats can do. If you put up those blades, they're going to drop in, and if you've got a skilled enough thrower, you can drop them in over the defense. It makes it very hard to play a zone. Always those deep players still a threat. Whereas the other way, that disc is going to sit. Your defense is going to have time, but that disc blading in fast.
The Hong Kong receiver just in the right position there, sitting pretty for it.
Absolutely. Positioning themselves well. Key to attacking a zone like that when there's a one player guarding the deep is to have two deep players. They're very hard shots to make, but two deep players will split them, force one player to guard two, and then open up space like that. As the Hong Kong team is signaling 4 women for this point. Maybe they've recognized that it's to their advantage if the Chinese team doesn't have a lot of women to just play 4 women all the time. Tire them out. Punish them for not bringing equal numbers of the same gender. I'm all about it.
A little bit sneaky, but it works. Hong Kong to pull up wind. Oh, the wind has momentarily died down. A little. And it's back now. Fremantle Doctor, unpredictable.
Absolutely. It's been quite gusty this afternoon. Not a consistent one, as that pool will land inside the end zone. Not able to get any yardage at all, throwing at approximately -5 meters. Chinese team with literally no distance to work at all. Hong Kong team going to need a block and then working at the whole field. But that's been the story of the day.
Definitely.
Downwind, downwind, downwind. As Hoffman picks up the disc. China in a vertical stack. All right, number 10, Liu, cutting up inside, getting free of his defender, taking a quick goal, punishing that pull, and
Scores equalised.
4-4. All right. Well, one upwind break apiece. So effectively nothing. All downwind otherwise. So impressive that each team has been able to go upwind and score. However, they're going to need to do it more if they're going to get ahead. The same adage still applies. Even if you can get one upwind break, you need to be getting one more than the other team. So China here signaling 4 men. They'll be coming out on defense. Let's see if they can pull it any distance.
Hopefully more than the last ball.
We live in hope.
We live in hope.
I believe in the ability of these Chinese players.
Pulling up wind can be particularly difficult in these conditions.
Absolutely. We're privileged to be here sitting in the commentary booth, throwing shade at the players and not having our skills tested ourselves, so it's nice.
Hey, we're too old, that's why. We shouldn't reveal that. China with the pull.
And that's a nice one. I think it's just a ball about the edge and at the very least getting to halfway where the pull can be stopped. And Hong Kong coming down here with just under half the field to go.
Cheng to pick up the disc. Oh, and he throws a hammer. That is spicy. Oh, cold drop there for Lau.
Yeah, it was a defender in the area, but he really should have been able to read that one. Sort of might have thrown him off there, and I think he's not feeling really good about that one.
No.
China coming against this Hong Kong match defense here. Let's see if they can work at the full field. As the first open under comes, Liu with the disc. Finds Lee. Liao choosing not to reset backwards. Oh, looking back again. Zuo with the disc. Oh, she goes around. That's a nice break. Just off the hands of Zhang. Hong Kong with a short field.
Cheng picking up. Finds a receiver very quickly.
Hong Kong with a quick punish. That's 5-4. Neither team able to break ahead. We looked like there was some strong movement early, but then quickly answered. Each team with one upwind break. They're going to need more because they're going to take this game away.
Most definitely.
As we get deeper into this game, though, it's going to be interesting to see how the teams feel each other out and what they're doing. Get used to how they're playing and see if they can get a little more consistent on their upwind offense. Because looks like the downwinders are coming thick and fast. Just got to get the disc in that area and then play for yardage, really.
Definitely. If we manage to get that upwind break, sometimes just doing the old huck and zone, gain the yardage, plays to your advantage, provided you do a backhand and get it in the field.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong, despite their few attempts to get it down the end of the field, not coming back in and coming in on a cone, still able to play solid lockdown in the end zone. I think it would mostly attributed to China's tendency to shoot it into a tiny space and not really use the width of the field. Just looking for that quick score. Hong Kong pulling upwind here. And that's nice. It's going to sit, but it's going to roll. Getting to about the halfway mark. Hoffman picking up the disc. His team behind him. Looking off his open swings. And he gets hand blocked there. Should have thrown it to one of his open ladies. However, Hong Kong with opportunity to go upwind.
Tan with the disc. Swings it early. Considers his options. So wants to dump. Oh, fumbles in the hands of Tan. Appears as though there's been a call though. So having a discussion with Chinese players. Foul called. Uncontested violation. The disc is going back. So. It's coming in. High disc on that far sideline. To Tan. Over to Chen. Wing swings, fakes. Getting it moved up. Lueng, oh, and he sends the backhand, but it just gets pushed down by that wind.
It's a good look. He had a player in space, but unable to complete the throw there. Hoffman picking up, surveying his options there. Attempts a difficult break. Hong Kong's completed just out the front here, and they've dished it in. Oh. That's another upwind break.
Great grab by Lueng there. Great read on that. You with the goal. Chinese team not letting the break by Hong Kong get them down, having a bit of a chance.
Absolutely. The Chinese team looking a bit downhearted here. Not super keen about that, but that's the way the game goes. Different body languages here. Hong Kong excited, amped about this. China talking to each other. Hoffman castrating his players. Getting angry about that one. Hong Kong with a chance to extend their lead here. If they can hold this downwind, they'll be in a great position. China really needing an upwind hold.
We have Lau checking the wind as he prepares to pull. Making sure they're very far back so they don't get penalised offside. The pull goes up. It's some good distance. Gonna roll as well. Diving bid to stop the disc.
That's well stopped. A quick check if the disc is okay, and we're off. Hoffman with the disc here. And when he shoots upwind, no one's going to sit for a long time. Or a huge pack of players underneath it. And it's That's incomplete.
No hands on that. Hong Kong players getting their bodies in the way though, just to bounce off the Chinese players from getting it. Hong Kong with another chance to score downwind. Swinging it around. Not afraid to move backwards. Oh, that's a great pop over the players there. Pang considering her options. High disc. Oh, there's been a call. Players on the sideline indicating a foul. Perhaps in the stack.
It's going to prevent me from running through.
佢話你咧，你隻手咁樣揸住佢咧，你令到佢向前跑，即係你頂實，你揸住咗佢。
我嗰個自然反應即係我打開手，然後個 kick incidental contact，即係唔係冇心嘅，一定冇心嘅。
咁但係你贊唔贊成？啱啱係即係知你唔係同我 OK。
I was very far away.
So what have you decided? Foul contest, okay.
There's been a pretty long discussion about this one. It's important to remember that there's a language barrier here. Lots of these players using both English and their native tongue to communicate here. It's all important to keep it respectful, and it looks like these players are doing quite well. This will be a contested foul. So it looks like we'll go back to the thrower here. Chinese still working on the zone here. Hong Kong at about the halfway mark. They haven't opted for any big yardage gaining throws yet. It's always an option going downwind. And I think if the stall count gets high, we'll see a big shot come out.
And just a step back in. Pang looking to dump it off. Quite a lot of traffic around her. Chung fakes the hack, sends it over. Can't quite reel it in, Sang.
And they've given away a short field turn here. China picking up the disc. Lin stationary with the disc. Goes up line, gets it again. Nice power position, doesn't use it for anything. Hoffman well behind. Uo with the disc now. And there's an incompletion there. Hong Kong players racing deep. Oh, and that shot long. Gained a bit of distance there, but not a completion.
Wouldn't just shooting that one down, or perhaps the angle. Hoffman to pick up.
Moving again. Zue with the disc. Facing down the Hong Kong zone. Lin with the disc. Over the top. Hoffman. Lin. Fakes the big. Back to Hoffman. Goes across here. Well collected. Su with the disc. Ue in the middle there. Zue wide. Back to Hoffman. Back to Lin. Working hard behind the disc here. Hoffman. Zue with the disc. His players open on that far side. Hoffman electing not to take that shot as Lin comes to the disc. Hoffman with the disc. Little travel, reset, no stoppage. Zue looks off the up line, goes back to Lin. Finds Su. And that's a great goal, Jiang. It's open in the end zone there. And that's an upwind score for China. They've broken back. It's the Hong Kong defense getting a bit slack there in the end, and China are able to work it around and get open upwind. So, 2 upwind breaks apiece here, and we're back to level. It's now 6-5 Hong Kong. China in the attacking position now. Hong Kong will have to answer here. Norris China upwind. Norris China will level the scores.
Hong Kong walking themselves back to the line very slowly. Having a chat further up in the field. Perhaps wanting to clarify something with the Chinese players. Or perhaps calling a timeout. Seem to be indicating for their players to come back in. Chinese players online ready to call though, so may just be a little bit of miscommunication. G'day game advisor chatting to the Hong Kong team. Perhaps telling them that they didn't call the timeout early enough. So circle spreads out. Players onto the line.
So a bit of confusion, but we're down to this next point shortly.
We have Hong Kong falling 4 men. China just standing in their line, ready to pull and play defense. And hopefully for them, get another break. Equalize scores.
Yeah, they're in a strong position going downwind here. They can drop this one in, it'll be pretty easy, but Hong Kong have proven their ability to go upwind here, so if they can do that, they'll hold on to their 1-point lead. Extended to 2.
Hoffman with a really lovely deep pull. Dancing very deep into the end zone there. Early swing over to Chen. She fakes around. Moving it through the zone there. Left hand with the disc. Dumps back. Swing it to the far side. Cheng. So this is options. He goes for a little bit of a wacky scuba, but it's collected. That's what matters. Gets the job done. Oh, and we have an attempt at a huck. Doesn't quite go far though.
Yeah, it went through a hole and you could see the player was looking for it, but didn't quite make it all the way. Half the move is the disc. No stall. Elects not to throw it at all. Pretty stagnant here. Throws a contested to you. You finds Lu. Looking around for that goal. Ooh, just a bit too fast, you.
Very good look on that throw though. Great option. Lewin just pushing it a little bit further than the player could run.
Always a tough one, those leading downwinders. Hong Kong going upwind here.
Chen with the disc. Trying to trap them on that closest sideline. Getting the swing off here. Now we're getting some movement. This is lovely. Low with the disc. Faking the huck. Decides not to take it. Goes with the swing. Chen. Over to Tan. Back to Low. Uses his height. Great upfield movement there. Swinging it back. Oh, cold drop from Low. Trying to get another crack downwind.
That's a tough one. That was some really good movement, moving it laterally, not allowing the zone to set. As Hoffman picks it up here and immediately shoots long and sails out of the field.
Another good option, just didn't sit as pretty this time. Hong Kong trapped in the sideline corner here. Running really hard to get off that sideline. Tag, dummy off to Cheng. Thinks about his options. Just goes for the push pass. Low with the disc. Thinks about it. Just goes to a very, very short pass there. A lot of traffic in this corner. Probably not wanting to risk the overhead. Now we're getting some movement. This is great. Oh, great defensive bid. Oh, and that's a huge throw. Probably a little rush though.
Yeah, they really didn't need to be doing that. They've gotten that far out the field, so nice dumping backwards and then lateral movement. They really needed to capitalize on there, relax, reset, and then attack again. Turnover there is going to be pretty costly and undo all their hard work to get that far. As China goes back the other way, Hoffman shoots immediately.
Low with the D. A relatively safe position around the brick mark. They want to play it nice and clean like they did earlier. Oh, bounce off the hands. Great grab there. Great movement from Lam. Move it back for their players. Low, Cheng. Citizens options to Low. Swings it over to Chen. Some really nice movement at this point, offensively from Hong Kong. They seem to take their time with their decisions. They're really starting to adjust their throw to this window.
Yeah, they're moving really well here. I think they're taking their time, moving short throws. I think this patience of the Hong Kong team is going to be what wins in this game if they're able to keep it up for the full 100 minutes. We've got the throws to be and executing them here. I'm a big fan of this zone attack. When it's tight, just taking the easy dump backwards and then moving it laterally. Dump back. There's no lateral option at the moment here. Oh, it's just through the hands. Often picks up that floaty one. Gets it, moves it up line, gets it back.
Chen calling a travel on Hoffman. Bit of discussion on it. Just back in.
Hoffman with it. Elects to shoot high and get a floaty disc up. Oh, and that's well read. Liu brings that down in the end zone there.
Great grab.
And that's another downwinder. Hong Kong not able to convert on this one, but a lot of good signs. They were able to dump it backwards, they move it laterally. Attacking well up the field, going around the zone. Just occasionally finding holes, but more often than not swinging it, forcing the Chinese zone to move. Looks like they've got the principles in which they can build a good zone offense. Just weren't quite executing that one. If they can keep that up, they'll be in good shape to take a bunch more upwind breaks and stretch their lead out this game.
Definitely. They were a bit slow to get out of that back corner there, but once they did, things were moving nicely.
Absolutely, it's never a good place to be, stuck in that back corner, but once you get underway, you can really get in a roll. The difficulty is when you stop, and then the defense sets again. The offense has a harder time moving against a static defense who is set up exactly where they want to be. So, need to be moving as much as possible, but tempering that and being careful not to go too fast like we saw before. And then ill-advised deep shot didn't come off.
Hong Kong going downwind again. With equalised scores, it could just be a case of trading downwind points until time gap. But that's a little boring, so let's see what happens. See if we can get some more breaks.
Absolutely, I believe in their ability to do it.
Definitely, the show already showing us that they can do it.
Yes.
Both teams.
Difficult to maintain that consistently across long points, but I believe they can hold this out and power through the rest of this game.
It's got another short pull, it's upwind. Low to pick up. Want some quick movement.
Chinese zone again, even going downwind.
Just on the doorstep now. Trying to force it through traffic and just can't convert. Trying to get a chance for upwind break now.
Bring the disc up on this cone here. Whoop. It's nice to put in. Howe with the disc. Goes wide. Finds Lau. No options at the moment. Patience from Howe. Faking with his body. Moves it wide. Stuck on that sideline now, moving well. How with the disc, but it looks like there's a call. That'll be a pick. It's good signaling.
Players showing off their guns. Oh, there's been a violation called.
Just a bit too keen to get underway. These players have all been training for a long time. They don't want to wait for stoppages.
Somebody on the sideline started singing YMCA. Having a bit of a joke about the Y with the arm that you do with a violation.
I think it's supposed to be a big V for violation.
V, that makes sense. Looks very similar to the Y from YMCA though.
Look, one of the beauties of Frisbee is you can interpret things as you like. Differing perspectives are always valued.
There is a bit of a tumble there.
Yeah, that's definitely accidental, but it's not the kind of considered play.
Definitely not.
It's not just about not intentionally causing contact, but also actively avoiding contact and playing in a safe manner. So you've got to be careful with all your actions, dude. Looks like everyone's okay.
Cheng, swing it. Tang to Low. Low on the far sideline there. And he throws a hammer. Let's see if it can pull off. Oh, that wind just pushing it just too far to the hands of two receiving options.
Yeah, a little too many Weebics there. Pretty keen to move it downfield, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. You got to play for yardage sometimes, even if that means throwing it out the back of the end zone. Hong Kong team not in the worst position here. Setting up a tight zone. China having a long way to go. China with a disc here. That's Zue with a disc. Stuck in that corner here. Needs to be resetting. Oh, and she shoots over the top. That's not bad, but it's gobbled up.
Great hands on that. Low, centering your Tang. Looking for options. Oh, cheeky pass over to Low. Looking for some downfield options. Chinese zone. Looking a little. On the far sideline now. Cheng. Dumping back to Low. There's been a call.
Now looks like it's a foul called. I'll have a chat about it. It's interesting to see the physicality there coming out from these teams. It's often can occur in a zone as players are contesting quite a small space. It's important to remember that every player has a right to the space that they're currently occupying. You've got to look after each other. Look after yourself, absolutely. One of the slogans of Emma and Tom's, providing food and juice for the 150 strong volunteer force that's running this tournament. Shout out to all the volunteers getting it done. Lining these fields, providing water for all the players. Doing amazing work.
We have some updates from around the ground. The US men's team are up on Italy. The Germans are up on Great Britain. And in some more interesting news, the Colombians women's game had a streaker during warm-up. Don't often see that at Frisbee. Now back to the game we're watching. Low, sending it long. Oh, there's been a drop. China with yet another chance in this long, windy point.
Yeah, might have pulled out of that defense there, but just enough to rattle and make the catch incomplete. Su with a disc, goes wide. Lau, going to send it to Su, back to Zue. Back to Su. Doing a lot of work behind the disc for this Chinese team. Back to Zue. Back to Liao. He's unable to hold on to that one. China scrambling to play defense here as Hong Kong has a short field to work.
Yeah, Hong Kong with a great chance here. Increasing their lead. Oh, it looks like that one was in. Relatively quiet field, but the game advisors have indicated a goal.
Yeah, it's a great grab coming in, sliding with the knees, be able to get his body underneath that, keep it up, and then gain control of it before it touches the ground. Hong Kong holding the downwind here. Nothing to write home about, but China with a chance to go downwind. Hong Kong with a chance to break upwind. It's going to be interesting to see how they can hold on. I mean, these teams are able to go upwind. They can do it. It's just very difficult.
The teams are having that timeout that they really wanted before that last point, and they definitely would want it now after the particularly long point they just had.
Absolutely interesting. Sometimes you got to be taking timeouts, take a rest, recollect yourself both physically and mentally. For a very long point like that, it's going to be difficult. Both those teams moving around in this timeout, looking at getting a lot of things done and seeing different areas of the field and coming over the commentary booth for a bit of shade. If you're interested in traveling around Perth, traveling around these fields, why not check out S3A Travel? They're our per travel partner and got great deals in their site for travel around Australia. If you're interested in seeing more of this beautiful country and this beautiful weather, beautiful sites north of Perth, south of Perth. If you go a bit east too far, you could be straight in the desert, but down south there's some beautiful areas like the Margaret River, and the rest of the state has lots of things to offer the aspiring tourist or the entrepreneurial coal miner.
If you feel like travelling further afar, there's plenty of gyms around the rest of the country.
Absolutely. Very lucky to live here and be able to traverse it in such style. SDA Travel giving us great options in the air, and Toyota giving us great options on the land. Thank you for providing these courtesy vehicles to other volunteers that aren't me and helping them get around. It's been a nice afternoon of ultimate here at UWA Sports Ground. The wind's picked up and it's made it a challenge for a lot of teams, but they've been training for a long time and they're sticking with it. It's definitely a test of not only their physical ability and their throwing skill in this wind, but their mental focus to be able to grind out these incredibly long points. It can be difficult to keep your body in and keep the test, keep going when throws are incompleted and the defense is there and the pressure's up, but you've got to keep grinding. If you slack off and just sort of give up on that point, then absolutely opposition is going to score and put it in. So can't be yielding it that easy, or you'll be yielding the game, and that's not what these players have come to do.
Definitely not. And there's one side of playing ultimate in Australia is a lot of our great fields and great cities are on the coastline, meaning that we are susceptible to some wind. Makes things a little spicy, a little interesting. Not all the countries who come here are used to this level of wind.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's definitely conditions that a lot of these countries haven't played in before. Definitely the wind, but also the heat making it difficult. But, you've got to adapt. There's absolutely, as you might say, uncontrollables. Control what you can and just learn to play around what you can't. There's only so much that one team, one player can do. So if you spend too much time worrying about the uncontrollables like the wind and the weather, then you'll be detracting from your ability to solve the riddle that is the opponent's defense and construct a offensive strategy to go the other way.
Definitely. I doubt the Hong Kong team are struggling too much with the heat. It's quite a warm little place. Recently travelled there. Saw people in winter coats and 22 degrees.
Absolutely.
That's their winter.
Well, the world differs.
It all differs. China, on the other hand, very vastly large country.
Incredibly, number of different climates, number of different cities, and these players will be collected from around there. It'll be interesting to see how they can gel together as a unit, where they're from, each of these players. So a lot of them might be used to this kind of weather, depending on where in China they're from. Others might not be used to it at all. So interesting to see how their coaching staff can bring them together into one cohesive unit. As we're coming out of this long break.
Seems like a particularly long time out, doesn't it?
Some might even call it a half-time.
Not quite though. Hong Kong score here, it is half. This is
China ready to take the field again. Hong Kong still hanging out in the tents. As they're getting ready to go for the rest of this game. See, there's lots of action going around the grounds here. Bit of a break. And there's lots of games in the previous slot have finished, but lots of teams warming up, getting ready for the last slot of the afternoon. We're excited later in the day to be bringing you the Australian men's team coming up against the Irish men's team in the last game of their power pools. It's sure to be a cracker of the match. Hometown boys looking to get it done. The Irish boys absolutely having some fiery games earlier in this tournament, looking to carry through that form and put themselves in a good position going forward. The men's division going into power pools now, whereas the mixed division going from pool play, and then the top 4 teams will be going straight to in each of the 2 pools. We'll be going straight to quarterfinals, and then from there it's elimination bracket play. Only the strongest surviving.
The Irish have been quite a surprise in this tournament. Not traditionally a powerhouse of Ultimate, but they've come out firing and strong, so it'd be great to see them match up against the Australian Goannas.
Yeah, the Irish men's team in the unrestricted age bracket have done quite well and performed highly at the recent Miss World Championships. Have definitely pushed Australian teams, those sort of things, so it's nice to see the skill and ability trickle down and see them developing their younger players as well. Of course, the bedrock of performance at the open age level is youth development. You can't just find experienced players, you have to make them.
Definitely.
It's the Hong Kong team here. Coming out on defense. Chinese team going downwind with a chance to equalize.
If Hong Kong score here, that'll be half. We've got Lang with the pull. Reaching just before the halfway mark, going out on the sideline. China slowly walking up.
Hoffman picking up the disc here. Hong Kong still playing that zone, but it's a bit looser. It's putting pressure on that dump there. Hoffman with the disc. Not a lot of options at the moment. Not moving the defense with his fakes at all. Back to Lim, the captain. Stalwart of this offense. Looking confident. Hoffman with the bump there.
Just a little bit too far for the Chinese receiver to reel in. That was Jiang running that one up.
All right, here we go again. This is the same yardage play. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hong Kong team looking to go upwind. China playing his own.
We have Lau with the disc. In that tricky corner of the end zone there, and he sends it! Oh, that is a high disc. There's going to be a lot of players under that if it comes back in. And it does. Oh, and Hong Kong reeled that one in. Excellent work. Swinging it round.
Not a lot of yardage gain there, but we're out of that corner. Got the disc underway, so that's worth it.
Moving it up. Sideline there. Trying to get it off. Swinging it round, Liang. Thinks about his options. Dumps back to the sideline. Oh, the wind just picking that one up and Charlo reeling it down.
That's a nice jump and grab by there. Su getting in there. Back with the disc again. Oh, it's high for Hoffman. Takes a grab, moving forward with his body. High flick, finds Ua. Finds Jiang with the disc, then move it down. Zue with the disc. Oh, shoots over the top. Hoffman's in the back of the end zone. And China equalizes 7-7 with that down window.
We still very much have a game on our hands.
Absolutely. It's all about those upwind breaks. Let's see who gets the next one.
We still have 15 minutes till time cap, so still plenty of time for either team to get that break.
Absolutely. As we like to say, it's anyone's game at this point.
The great thing about Ultimate is that you have to win, you have to score to win. So you could be down a number of points, still win the game.
Absolutely. Time cap rules saying that you have to reach the score cap that's determined. Otherwise, the game doesn't end. So technically, runs of unlimited length are possible, although if it gets too close to it, you might have to score every single point in a row. Not quite at that point yet, but it looks like we might be going that way as teams work out. They're getting better at scoring upwind in those and making that happen, but at the same time, the defense is getting a lot better. Not yielding short field turns, slinging it long, playing for yardage. Just China rips the pull, and looks like it's landed out on the full. So Hong Kong has the opportunity to take it from where it crossed the line or from the brick mark, and it looks like that it crossed the line quite far down, so they're taking it from the sideline here.
We have Tang picking up the disc, chatting to the sideline players about where it went out. He found the spot. This is in. Fakes the forehand, trying to get that around swing, and he goes to the forehand anyway. Big flick hack. Oh, diving players. And the disc is called as down.
Might have been a bit of contact there, but it's definitely down anyway. So China with an opportunity to go upwind here. Not showing a lot of haste getting to this disc. Happy to let the Hong Kong defense set up and get exactly where they want before they're starting. Interesting approach here, but Lin's the captain and he'll do what he wants. As he picks up the disc here and he's staring down 5 defenders. Advancing it quickly, finding those holes. That's nice. Lu with the disc. Back through the center here. Yu, stationary. Going wide, fine. Zhao with the disc. Going up the sideline, indicating no rush here. Lin with the disc, telling his players what to do. Defense can see it, but that's okay. Goes backwards, back to Lin in the center here. Taking his time.
Lots of traffic. Hong Kong managed to push the Chinese back.
Lin with the disc here, getting a bunch of passes, not getting a lot of meters. And it looks like there's a call there, quickly resolved, checking the stall count. And we're back in here, Lin with the disc. Oh, moves it there, gets dumped backwards. Lin with the disc, Zhang with the disc, and it's a travel called. Lin moving his feet a little bit, but quickly reset and get back at it. Lin with the disc. Faking around, pointing. Not taking a lot of options. Zhang, back to Lin. Moving up the sideline there. Yu with the disc. Back to Zhang. She goes long. And there's a foul called on the throw there. Hong Kong playing anyway. Big foul. As it comes back.
Get a replay of that earlier diving throw. Great bid by Yun.
And looks like there's an uncontested foul, so the disc will be back with Zhang, with the count coming in on 0. China not doing a lot of good work against this zone. There's only the 3 of them getting any contact here, and that's Lin again. Only advancing in a meter at a time. They're not really threatening any larger shots, not getting a lot of lateral movement. They're not dumping it backwards. Lin's got it here. It's going to take them about 3.5 hours to get up the field at this rate, so they need to be making an extra advantage. Back to Zhang. Goes wide. That's the kind of movement they're looking for, but there's a turnover.
Chang pick up. Looks for the early option. Doesn't come. Swings it around to Tang. Back to low. Oh! Finds a sneaky throw. Oh! There's been a call down, and it's accepted.
Yep, there's definitely bounced that one as Lin picks up the disc here. And they're moving around. It's waiting for Hong Kong to get exactly where they want before moving the disc, because an interesting decision here. And now he has no one to throw to. He's got Zhang on his side, they've moved it there. And now she has no one to throw to. China not moving a lot here. Lin coming in, shunting over the Hong Kong defense to get there. And that's foul called. Zhang indicating that someone's been hitting her hand, and that's why there's a turnover there. A lot of gesticulation as trying to get their point across. A lot of these fouls here are occurring as a consequence of the Chinese attempting to play in a tiny space here. Those three players, Zhang, Lin, Liao, all moving in a tiny space, not gaining anything there. They're not opening up space for their players to move in. And the Hong Kong players absolutely having a right to be there as Lin grips it and rips it. And it bounces off the hands of Zhang here. Hong Kong with a quick flip. Unable to reel that in for a goal there.
Potentially a little bit of a rush throw, just getting excited about the opportunity to score quickly.
That's all right, Lim with the disc here on the end zone line. Still unable to move. Chinese team not spacing the field here. They've got that dump off like that. That's a nicer throw. They're looking for a bit more exploratory options, but picked off by the defense.
Great hands there by Fan. Tang picks up, throws the flick. Double happiness for Tang. Nope, not gonna happen.
China with yet another opportunity. But if they're going to make any ground here, they're going to need to be doing something different. They need to find a different way to attack this zone. The throws three handlers jumping in the tiny space, moving around. It's not going to work. It's nice to see Liang try to make more of a bigger throw over the top. And that one was incomplete. So they're going to need to be completing these throws over the top or moving more laterally. Lin versus Liao finds Zhang. Opts not to keep moving it laterally. Finds Lin. Lin with no options, taking a couple of steps forward. Finds Zhang. Back to Liao. Sorry, with the disc. Lin pointing. Calling his shots like Babe Ruth. And that one's incomplete.
Low goes to pick up from the sideline. China City up quickly in a zone. Low may use his height to get it over the top. Let's see what he does. He's thinking. Looks like he's talking to his mark. Nope, he's thinking again.
And we're in.
Oh, great read there. The wind picked that one up. Couldn't get to Chang in time. Low couldn't grab it back himself. China gets another bid.
Yes, this is the best field position they've had all time, and it's mostly due to a Hong Kong backwards turnover. But they'll take it. Lin with the disc. Hong Kong slow to set the zone, but Lin giving them all the time that they need. Shoots long again, hoping for a good grab, but falls straight to the ground.
Low gets his body in the way and sends it deep immediately. That's a great throw. Just a little bit too fast for the hands of Tango.
I think he's looking more for yardage there than completions, and he's got exactly where we wanted.
Oh, definitely.
China in the same position they were 15 minutes ago. All except now all of their players are incredibly tired, and Lin, Yu, Zhang, the three handlers having to do a lot for nothing. Yu with the disc here, number 28. I've been calling his name wrong, but he's still got the disc here. Finds Zhang. Incomplete there. Hong Kong with a chance for an easy score. As they're walking to the disc, and that's addition for a score. Hong Kong completing a downwind there. going in and advancing that score ever so slightly.
And taking half.
We'll reach the timed half earlier there, so we won't have a big break. But Hong Kong still advancing that score. So China not able to work the disc very far up into this wind. Continuing to work against this zone in the same manner they did, despite not getting any yards. Unable to adapt their offense or try anything different. Hong Kong now with a chance to go upwind. The Hong Kong offense has been a little more adaptable, a little more flowing, prepared to move wider and more laterally here. But they're going to have to really do something special as this wind is picking up later into the day. Not able to get a lot done. This Chinese defense is going to be as ferocious as ever. Their zone's going to come down and raid wall, you might say. But Hong Kong might be able to go around if they're able to play a disciplined offense. Both of these teams are getting tired of these very long points, putting a lot of stress on the players' bodies. Even though they've been training for a long time and they're well conditioned athletically, these are very long points, stressing even the most athletic players. Hold on tight.
The pull comes up. Get some decent yardage for an upwinder.
There we go, China going downwind against his zone. Not a lot of movement here. Hoffman back on the field. Directing a lot of traffic. Working a lot with Lin. Ooh, it's a nice beat on defense there. Ooh, with the disc, he's got no options downfield. Finds Hoffman laterally. Looks over the top, Lin's in the area. Oh, and that's a great bid. He's gone up early, he's got a piece of that disc, but then collided with Lin. So, there's a foul called there. WFDF rules state that if, doesn't matter whether the contact occurs before, during, or after the attempt on the disc, it's all considered part of the same thing. It is not acceptable to come up, get that block, and then slam into another player. If you can't get the block without making contact, you can't get the block.
Exactly that. Frisbee is a non-contact sport, and so people forget that sometimes.
Under the USAU rules, where they play in the certain unenlightened areas of the world, if you get the block and then collide with a player, it's okay if you got the block first. But that's a bit too much contact for WFDF and the rest of the world and this non-contact sport. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the interpretation of the rules goes here and the different perspectives that the players had on. As that is 3 whistles on the field there. It's been 45 seconds. And that's a contested foul. Disc will go back. Still a Chinese possession. Huffman with the disc here. China knocking on the door.
Players being told to return to their position when the throw went up. Before they tell Hoffman they're ready for the disc to be checked in. And it's back.
Hoffman doesn't reset to zero. Goes wide. Uwe with the disc here. Struggling to maintain a pivot. Finds Hoffman with a push pass. Looks up line, finds Uwe in the end zone. China successfully held downwind. And they've equalized here. At this rate, a lot of downwind scores here. A lot of these players getting too tired over these long points. And these zones becoming too good to enable upwind scoring. Often upwind scores coming early in the game when players are fresh and fiery, or late in the game when the zones have been worked out and holes start to appear, but neither team seems to have the athletic edge at this point. Seem to be quite evenly matched in that department. So it's going to come down to who's the most consistent as we're at evens here. Time cap approaching. Hong Kong here. So 4 men's being called again by this Hong Kong line going downwind.
Now with time cap approaching, means that with the equalised scores, it's just potentially just going to be whoever can punch one in first. At this stage, Hong Kong are front in that regard, so that is in their advantage. China pulling upwind, Hoffman walking the disc up to his decided pull location.
Gonna see if he can make some yards here. There's been a few different pulling techniques offered. I think the ones that have had the most success is the outside in that rolls, and you know that extra 10 meters of roll can be absolutely important. You know, if your pull's only going 20 meters in the air, 10 meters on the rolls is a significant percentage gain. Hoffman with a pull. It's a nice one, holding its edge flat, getting past the brick mark there.
Hong Kong to pick up. Early movement, low of the disc. So he uses his height to cut one over. Or uses the fake, and he sends the forehand long. Chinese receiver picks it up though.
It's well read. They found Hoffman there. Getting a lot of disc for this Chinese team. Shoots long. And well defended.
No call being made. Low uses height to get great defense there. Tang sending it to the sideline for Cheng. Cheng sends a huge backhand. He's got Ewan deep. And she reels it in.
And that is a great score. Hong Kong's done it. They have scored quickly and efficiently going downwind. That's amazing work, but it looks like there might be a call earlier.
Hong Kong players too excited with their celebration to recognize the call.
It happens sometimes, but
players quieting down, walk back up, trying to figure out what the call was, what was going on. Perhaps a travel call. It was number 10, Cheng, who sent that long disc. The disc is back with him at this stage.
and looks like a travel's called. Got a signal last. No, I'll have a chat.
Cheng had some great momentum on that throw, so potentially may have been off the back of running into it.
Yeah, it's always interesting, the travel calls of a player gathering the disc in power position and shooting long there. It's perfectly acceptable as long as a pivot foot remains on the ground during the act of throwing. And the players do not change direction as they're slowing down with the frisbee. So game advisors on the field here explaining the intricacies of the rules, making sure the players know what's up, and just having a quick chat about what they thought occurred. If this travel call is retracted, then goal will stand, but looks like they're pretty adamant about this one, about what happened.
A lot of talk and demonstration between Cheng and Wu. The game advisor there to facilitate.
This much discussion and this much gesticulation, it's likely to be contested at this point.
Getting the perspective of the Chinese defender. The second game advisor. And they're calling it a goal.
Great work from the captain there, Lin, able to offer additional perspective to his player, and great spirit to say, yes, I understand it was very, very close. However, my perspective was that the opposition player did not travel. And then the goal stands. It's amazing work by these players, and it looks like a lot of discussion there, but we've arrived at the correct resolution. These players have a quick chat.
They get a great replay there of Yin celebrating, so ecstatic after that goal. Great one for the highlights reel.
Absolutely, and I think Hong Kong team doing really, really well there to put in that goal. Chinese team keeping their spirits high, getting really loud. Hong Kong team just quietly intense, ready to go.
Well, we've been told that this is going to be a game to 10 points.
All right, that means this next point coming out here will be game point for this Hong Kong team. However, they will have to go upwind for it. If the Chinese team is able to go downwind, it'll force a universe point, 9 all, game to 10. But the Hong Kong team will have the advantage going downwind there. So, either team able to go upwind at this point at any point, may be able to take the game. Either Hong Kong goes upwind and takes the game here, or the Chinese team goes downwind and then upwind for the win.
I've got a little bit of miscommunication here. All the players are high-fiving.
Great, looks like we were wrong. Players are right, self-officiation wins again. And that's the game to Hong Kong. Time cap might have been called a little earlier than we had on the screen. Apologies for that. However, that's the game to Hong Kong. And indeed, like we suspected at the beginning, it did come down to who started at what end. Hong Kong team able to hold downwind consistently, and no upwind breaks coming late in the game there. So they're able to run away with it. And ferocious zone defense. Long points there, and finally coming away with a Hong Kong victory. It's been a good game. We're glad to bring this afternoon of Ultimate to you here in Perth, WA. I've been Rob Swan, and with my co-commentator Katie Locke, it's been a pleasure.
Definitely. And shout out to any of those at home in China and Hong Kong who are tuning in. Appreciate your support on the live stream. Thanks for watching. It's been a great game.